Alright guys, I downloaded a new version of Capture Age, or whatever is available from their website. I didn't go in and do any advanced add or remove programs or anything like that, so I hope it was smart enough to uninstall the old version if there is indeed an old version and install a newer version. So I guess we'll find out. Let's take a look at the scores again for these players real quick. So we're restarting. Today the objective, if Capture Age will allow it, is to cast the Otter one versus John 803. They're around 14, 1500, 1300, somewhere in that range. And then to cast Lucho versus Smokey, and they're up at 2.3 and 2.4k, somewhere in that range. Let's get right into the game to try to make up for some lost time. We'll hit go. The map of the week is Olympos. This map was made by Q Philip, who is a Polish random map maker. He is a friend of mine, and he threw this together for us in a week. We had a pretty lucrative scripting contest, but just nobody had time. Nobody had time, so we couldn't do it. It looks like Capture Age is already misbehaving again. So they must just keep increasing the requirements. Oh, there it goes. All right, well, we'll see. We'll try it. But I may have to reevaluate whether or not I can run Capture Age for these castings. Maybe my PC just can't do it anymore like it used to. So the Otter one is playing as the Yellow Mongols, and John 803 is playing as the Blue Romans. Well, I like Romans better, but I think Mongols could be a better pick for this map. There's a lot of hunt, and there's a lot of mobility that you can't necessarily get as Romans. Guys, tell me, what do you think Romans can do on this map that would put the Mongols in a really tough spot? What should John 803 be playing for here? Let me know, because I can't really think of anything for sure, and I don't think the game will be telling me anytime soon. There we go. All right, Capture Age is back in motion. 803 throwing up his lumber camp here. So it looks like the Otter one has brought in his first boar. Mongols, of course, take hunted meat faster, which is one of the reasons why they have such an exceptional scout build. Speaking of scouts, a little bit of a nerf, actually, to the Mongols, perhaps. This guy right here, this heavy swordsman, yeah, he's not a scout. So the Mongol vision bonus does not apply to this scouting unit, I'm pretty sure. Actually, we could test that out real quick once Capture Age starts responding again, and we could check to see what his vision is. Yeah, you know what? Screw it. I'm done with Capture Age for a while, I think. So I'm just gonna close this and hold on one sec, guys. I'm going to pause it. We're going to change the source here to just Age of Empires 2. So if you would bear with my technical difficulty here. We're going to change it over to Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition. We're going to say OK. There we go. Alright, so now we will unpause, and these guys, okay, we should be going at the normal speed. So not as good as Capture Age in terms of analytics, but it actually works, unlike Capture Age on my PC. So I think it's just a resource demand thing. They just kept on making Capture Age more and more resource intensive until older PCs like mine can't handle them anymore. Either that or this. Oh, look at this vision, actually, on this guy. I wonder if I did that. I think I did do that. I must have done that. Yeah, this is 803's scout right here. Let's go take a look at the Otter one's perspective. So the Otter one's perspective, where's his scout? Here it is. So the vision appears to be the same on both of these scouts. They have a large vision radius because they're slower than most units. So that's one of the tricks, you know, to make sure that the scout isn't excessively effective, is to change its vision depending on how fast of a unit it is. So it looks like 803 wants to come up here and maybe look for some deer. See some, he's got some hunters here. Let's see what 803's vision is. Okay, so he knows about the deer up here, and he wants to go get it. So you see that 803 is moving out across the map. He's definitely interested in those deer. Romans have a generally good economy, I would say. Their villagers, I think, work what, 5% faster starting in the Dark Age, and they just keep that. The Outer One sees it. Now, this long swordsman here, this heavy swordsman, is really not that scary, actually. And 803 swordsman goes down. He's only got 15 HP, and the villagers can fight back. These villagers, though, are unloomed, so this was a little bit greedy of 803 to send so many villagers so far away without getting loom. He was probably calculating the risk, and he was thinking, what are the chances that the Otter One is going to happen to have a scout here? Alright, so he's gotten loom now. You can see that less damage is being done. And so 803 could actually fight this. Because this guy only has 15 HP. And he attacks slowly. He only attacks... It says 7 here, which is pretty scary. But he is attacking half as many times as... His attack rate is half that of a traditional scout. So in the Dark Age, he does 3.5 damage instead of 3 damage. Actually, technically, scouts, I think, attack once every 2 seconds. So therefore, every 4 seconds they do 6 damage, whereas these heavy swordsmen do 7 damage every 4 seconds. But they're both hunting. With the distinction that the Otter One has an advantage because his villagers hunt faster, and because he got a villager pickoff on 803. Who's sending a new villager up here? 803 is building a sneaky barracks on the side. That is an interesting choice. I wonder if he's going to kind of wall this off and build himself a little fort over here with a mill. It would be just like the Romans to make a fort, huh? What do we got over here? We have a spearman from the Otter One easily killing 803's scouting unit. The spearman does half the damage but has a lot more health. He's got 3 times the health, actually. So they can win. Okay, he's going to take that. Let's talk about their military here. 803 is not feudal age yet. Is he on his way up? Okay, he is on his way up. He'll be there shortly, in a few seconds. And maybe we'll see 803 go man-at-arms or something, but I don't think so, because he hasn't made any militia yet. The Otter One, meanwhile, is going scouts as Mongols. He's got 1 scout out, and I don't see his... there it is. There's his stable. Alright, so he has a scout, and he's going to go... He's probably going to actually harass 803's ibex harvest here. And there are a lot of villagers to be had. There's 7 villagers up there. Maybe more. 8 if you include the builder. And 14 if you include all of the ibex. So, 803 has got quite a bit going on over there. He has not walled, though, which is very scary. Maybe he figures, I got a bunch of scouts on this wood line, it'll be fine. Or maybe he figures, I'll just quick wall, it'll be fine. But he's about to overchop here. This has 1 left, and the scouts are in. The Otter One has to pull back. He pulls back his scouts to where they can all gang up on a villager, and then they kill the villager. 803 fighting it a little bit more.
Salve.
Yeah, this is a disaster. He does kill a scout, but he's lost some eco here. The villagers are fleeing. The scouts are attempting to pick them off. He's going to get 1. He's going to get 2 more. I think the game is over at this point, but 803 will keep on trying. He's very determined, and maybe the Otter One will make a mistake. But not walling and not making any spearmen and building his barracks over here. These are some strange choices. Okay, so 803 has gone scouts as well. I'm not exactly sure where he went scouts. Okay, he built his stable up here. That makes sense.
Salve, pronto.
803 has not closed this off yet. Why not? 803, quick wall. Alright, there we go. Alright, so 803 is going to quick wall. Maybe 803 will in turn get some good damage in on the otter one, but the otter one has a spearman ready. 803 coming in this way. I don't think 803 has much knowledge of the otter one's base. I could be wrong. He's looking for the villagers, but they're all on the other side. I mean, these berry pickers were nearby. The other one kind of started a wall off here, but he hasn't finished it. It's a large area 2 wall. .803 pulling back. He needed to go up here, but he didn't know. He didn't know, and 803 hasn't explored that area, so he doesn't know about it. Otter one waiting for some more damage. Actually, I'm surprised. The Otter one never came up here, as far as I could tell, with his scouts. 803's got some spearmen out now. He's got 3, actually, which is good. He's got... 803 has a lot of villagers on food here, so he's getting kind of close to clicking up to the next stage. The Otter one might be advancing himself. No, the Otter one is not advancing, but he is also getting close. He actually has the resources, and he clicks up now. Whereas 803 has clicked up as well. So, as far as I know, the Otter one never really raided this, except to send this spearman here. I could be mistaken, but it seems like the Otter one probably just assumed that 803 would not be here anymore, because it would be too dangerous with all of his scouts. Or maybe he scouted that there were no military buildings here, and yet there were military units in his base. So maybe he figured that his opponent... Oh, that's much better. Maybe he figured that his opponent had military presence in that location, and it was futile to attack it. 803 is going to get some revenge here. He's going to get a villager pick-off. He might get another one, too. These scouts don't have any upgrades, but that's 2 really helpful villager pick-offs for John 803, who has taken the score lead. That Roman economy starting to kick in. I'm surprised. I thought 803 was toast. But you never want to underestimate this guy. I've known him for a while. He is tenacious. You think that one scout saw all of the spears. Yes, well, we didn't see you scout this, but maybe you saw you scout this. Welcome, the Otter one. And he does have 3 spearmen over here. Very dangerous to attack. Although I've seen people crazy enough to dive something like this. 803 is in the castle age. Otter one will not be far behind. There it is. 803 looking to be a pest, but he's kind of cornered. Okay, he actually was lucky to break out there. Not get poked by any spearmen. Running around in circles over there. What do we got over here? Uh-oh. The Otter one is in on 803's gold. That never helps. Are we going to see another villager go down? Yes. If 803 had been paying attention, maybe he could have quick-walled the scouts in and trapped them on that gold. But he should plug this up with a palisade or something, just to make it so that the scouts have to come all the way around to get back at that gold. Because here they come again. Why not? Why not? No, I didn't get it working, Cookie Pirate. Look carefully. I gave up. Alright, so 803 has begun to make knights. His gold production is suffering, though. He can't make many knights if he can't take gold properly. But knights are much more powerful than scouts. So it makes the Otter one's scouts obsolete, but the Otter one has steppe lancers. So 803 will probably need a monastery. 803 has a large economic presence over here. He seems to really like this area. His philosophy is spread out so that the Otter one cannot focus me down in any one area, and he wants the gold. You can see that he's shift queued. Build this town center and then take this gold. And he needs that gold. Okay, I bet that 803 has done a little bit of market action here to get these knights out. And he's going to build another town center at this location. This is a good town center. It's on the gold. It's on the wood. And he does have the score lead over the Otter one. So this has been a pretty good game so far. Both players have taken losses. I think 803 has taken more villager losses, but his villagers are also more efficient, so he can kind of afford it. So the Otter one is going to mix in some camels to help him against the knights. Now camels get wrecked by spearmen, so they're going to have to be careful to take a good fight. This knight wants to break through and join the others, but these boys are going to poke him. I think that 803 needs some monks. Monks solve all your problems. Whoa! Look at that! A wild yo-yo dude has arrived in chat. Yo-yo! What's happening? Welcome. Welcome, Yo-yo. It's great to see you here. I bet Yo-yo just came for the Step Lancers. He loves those. Alright, it's time for 803 to refresh the wall off here. Yep. Alright, he sees it. So he's paying attention. He sees these camels coming around this side, and he's like, no thank you. I've had enough problems with your military getting in on my woodline, Otter 1, and nope, it's going to keep these guys out. Which is smart. These villagers might be able to fight off a scout or two, but once you start getting into Castle Age, it's really hard for the villagers to fight off military units. Okay, so the Otter one has decided to shift his focus up here. He's picked off a villager with the Step Lancers. Step Lancers taking some free arrow fire. It doesn't look like anybody has gotten... Okay, 803 has gotten a single armor upgrade. The Otter one coming back for some more. Otter one has not gotten any armor upgrades, so these Step Lancers will take lots of damage to the town center. 803, however, to be fair, has also not gotten any range upgrade. So, or not range, but range and attack upgrade. He hasn't gotten fletching or bodkin. The Otter one just wants to snipe villagers with his Step Lancers. Oh, Otter, pay attention, pay attention. Okay, the Step Lancers, he loses 3 there. He's going to try to come in. There's a couple of low HP villagers here. This villager has 3 HP, and that villager has 3 HP. So if this were an Alaska map, the Otter one could send his Golden Eagle in here and blow it up, and blow up some villagers. But this is not an Alaska map. The Scout is far less useful on this map. He's just a heavy swordsman that runs around and looks scary, but he's actually not that tough because he's lazy and he attacks slowly. So I bet the 803 could take this fight here. He outnumbers the Otter one, and some of these camels are pretty weak. This is just raw stats winning at this point, even though it's a counter unit. And what is the Otter one doing? I think that the Otter one might be trying to boom here. Yeah, it looks like it. He's adding another town center. And it looks like he's stopped making Lancers. Let me check. Maybe he's still making them. No, I don't, it doesn't look like he's making them anymore. So the Otter one just wants to get to Boku villagers now. And 803 is at 62 villagers, sorry, 50 villagers, and the Otter one is at 57. So the Otter one has a little bit of a villager lead over 803, but not very much. And 803 seems to have a good army. The Otter one is going to get some relics. Okay, so guys, this is the important thing to know about the Otter one. The Otter one thrives in chaotic and awkward situations with standard victory conditions. The Otter one loves his sudden death. He loves deathmatch. He loves standard victory. He loves relics. He loves situations where there is an expanded rule set for how to play the game besides eventually crushing somebody. So, has the Otter one secured every single relic? Well, we're about to find out. He's bringing the relics to the back of his base. Now, he's also getting raided, though, so he's got to come back here and deal with this. This could be a very important economic raid for 803. This is a huge disruption to the Otter one's economy. Look at this. 803's got to pay attention, though. These knights are just letting this lady chop wood there. There we go. Alright. So he's going to tie up score here in terms of, not score, but villager count. So the Otter one with 62 villagers, and 803 has 56. So he's closing the gap with this raid. time for 803 to get out of here. He's running back through the hole that he chiseled in the wall. And the Otter One is going to put his boys back to work, but man, was that disruptive. So let's see here. Otter One has captured all of the relics. Guys, remember that it's standard victory condition, and this is what the Otter One likes. So now 803 is on a timer. Even though he has the score lead, he could still lose if the Otter One is able to keep these relics in this monastery for 200 years. The thing that I love about the relic victory condition is that people panic, right? People can attack before they're ready. Even if they would win long term, we've seen people in previous seasons of Alchemy League attack prematurely because they were afraid of losing the countdown. And so that could very well happen to 803 here. Even though 803 appears to be in decent shape, he's got the score lead. These Romans. Maybe the Otter One will manage to keep that relic victory. We'll just have to see. So the Otter One, 70 villagers, and 803 has 62. So I don't know how much booming actually 803's been doing, because that seems like a pretty similar number to the one that I've seen before. Alright, 803 is going to build this castle. He's also got a couple of raids here. Camels don't want to fight under the town center fire. Who can blame them? 803 might be able to sneak up this castle while this military is distracted down here. If these cavalry units found this castle, they could deny it. But 803 would probably try to quick wall. The Otter One going on the offensive here to make sure that he retains control of the relics. Let's see if we can figure out what 803's plan is to deal with the relics. He's getting Town Watch. I don't see any military unit production from him. Okay, he's going Imperial Age. That's the plan. Could be a good plan. And he's building some Centurions. So Centurions, as you guys know, are very effective at increasing the efficiency of adjacent infantry units. I think it's mainly just the swordsman line, especially legionaries, who you most commonly see them active with. But I'm not really sure why 803 would make Centurions here, because he doesn't have any infantry. He doesn't have any infantry, and there are some monks here that could convert the Centurions, which would be pretty awkward. And I think if a monk converts a Centurion, then it actually helps your enemy's infantry instead. However, I will say that a castle is a great choice for the purpose of trebuchets. If 803 could get like a castle drop right here or something, and he could get like 4 or 5 trebuchets to roll a little bit in front of that castle, and this is open technically here, he could take out this monastery and just snipe it and buy himself some time. That could be a good plan. But the Otter One has been keeping him busy with raids. He's got Step Lancers in on his stone. Step Lancers are such an effective raiding unit. 803 hasn't realized this yet. He's down to 51 villagers. Okay, he is now starting to garrison the town center, but this was a devastating raid. 803 didn't notice. He was too busy doing something else. Oh, okay, he was fighting these monks down here. Well, when you hear that Woolaloo sound, it raises your blood pressure. And with that raid, the Otter One has taken the score lead. Or perhaps it's with 803's Imperial Age advancement. Let's see what the Otter One is doing. The Otter One is nowhere near the Imperial Age. I guess he could kind of close to clicking up, but he hasn't clicked yet. 803 gets to the Imperial Age first. And what are we going to see? Are we going to see some trebuchets from 803, perhaps? Nope, more Centurions. Oh, you know what? I bet 803's plan... No, he is getting the infantry upgrades. 803... Alright, 803 wants to invest in infantry. He believes that he has time to get the champions rolling. Or not champions, but Centurions. Yeah, alright. We'll see. I'm skeptical. I'm not sure about that. The Otter One is just raiding him to death. He's got 45 villagers left. He hasn't made any new ones. 803 wants to get back to work, but these Step Lancers are just everywhere. I thought maybe that... I mean, the Centurions have 13 attack, base attack. Knights have 10. Maybe 803 was going in the direction where he was just going to make a bunch of Centurions and just dive this monastery with a bunch of high attack units. He's building another castle here. I don't know if 803 is going to answer the relics at all. But the Other One is playing this exactly how Mongols want to play against the Romans, even though their economy might be at a disadvantage in the mid to late game. They're just running around everywhere, causing massive disruption. 803 is manufacturing pikemen to keep up with it. I don't know if he'll be able to make enough. The Other One doesn't really have to do anything. He is stonewalling though, which is funny. He does not want 803 getting in with these Centurions, sniping anything. 803 realizes that it's stonewalled. Can't get in there, can't deny the town center. So he's instead just going to come around this way. The Other One is Imperial Age. I wonder if the Other One will get heavy camel. That's what I would be getting right now, if I had the resources. No, the Other One wants to go into Mangudais for some reason. 803 just decides to take this fight. Because the pikemen had arrived. The Other One is arriving, though, with Mangudai of his own. He loves his camel and he loves his Mangudai. I think 803's window is rapidly closing here to destroy that monastery. This is just too many Centurions. I think the overinvestment into Centurions was not a good idea. They don't get him anything. He doesn't have... They're expensive. He's not making any swordsmen, so the Centurions don't do much. It's like having an army of leaders and no followers. The Other One is housed at 155 population. He's at 115 villagers. How many villagers does 803 have? 803 has 56 villagers. 803 could have made something work with, like, monks and trebuchets, maybe. Maybe like a forward siege workshop with some pikemen or something. I don't know. It's hard to say because he also took a lot of early damage to the Other One's raids. The best solution would have been for 803 to snag at least one of the relics and like to build castles everywhere and just survive the raiding and win the long game. Because this right here is all for Mangudai, right? This is create Mangudai, create production facilities for Mangudai. But once those are gone, the Mangudai are gone, Other One doesn't have a lot of options. Alright, so big fight here. I think this is the game-ending fight, actually. Yeah, there's just not enough units for 803. It's going to keep trying. It's building a siege workshop. There's only about 30 years left on the relics. Hey, Sapson! Other One likes camels this game. He may not like them generally, but he likes them this game. I think Sapson found us through the Other One, actually, and through the IU. And that's good, because there's a lot of overlap between this community and the IU. They both like weird maps. But this community does it in a more competitive format, versus the IU is a lot of free-for-all. Maybe the IU has changed a lot, though, from my original understanding of it. The IU? It's actually spelled differently from that. Yes. A-Y-L-L-U. Oh, they got it already. So there's this troublesome pack of Mangudai that are preventing 803 from getting these siege workshops going. He wants to do scorpions, but the Mangudai get bonus damage against the scorpions. So I'm not sure how effective that would be. But the Other One knows that he doesn't really have to push too hard and take many risks because he's about to win a relic victory. DJ Sapson says he's still not sure what the IU is, even though he's been a part of it. And the Otter one wins a relic victory. So it's always fun to see 803 in action, but I think in this case he overcommitted to Centurions, which are not really an effective unit for that situation, when he should have been focused on snagging one of these relics, either from his sort of secondary base up here, coming in and just snagging one real quick, or from building up other types of units like pikemen before these Mangadai were out to protect a monk to snag the relics. He may have been too far behind though, because he did get hit pretty hard with raids in the Feudal Age. Yep, GG. So now we will cast the next one. So we take a look at the statistics here. Kill to death is actually surprisingly close. Closer than I thought it would be. With the Otter one having a slight advantage. And probably most of these are villagers. The Otter one bigger eco, because he was always in 803's eco, raiding him to death. 803 advanced to the castle and Imperial Ages more quickly, but the Feudal Age difference here decided the outcome of the game, I think. The Otter one with all of the relics. Villager high of 153. Sometimes it's 4, sometimes it's 5. It's a custom map, right? So you can't exactly tell people how many relics the map is supposed to have, even though 1v1s usually have 5. So what's the deal with this map? This is Libadi. This is the Greek word for prairie or meadow or something like that. No boar. You start with 2 scouts. And we are looking at the Otter one's perspective now. And you start with a few berries under your town center. But this is based on an Ensemble Studios map called ES Prairies. And it is a hard map, I think. I have played this map a few times as Byzantines, and they struggle. Because there are not a lot of resources. You need your economic bonuses on this map. It's hard. 3 relatively small wood lines. It's 2 or 3 wood lines. If it's 2, they're slightly larger. But there's this big green patch here. There's a relic exactly in the center, and there's some other relics around it. There might be like a little bit of water here on the edges just because it's Greece, right? And there's lots of islands and coastline. But in general, relatively flat land. There might be a few mounds here to make scout fights more interesting. But this is a vicious map right here. This is the map that try-hard Arabia people love. Now, this second map was decided based on a discard system, and this was the one that was left over. I have a hard time believing this map didn't get discarded earlier, honestly. But maybe these guys were like, oh, that map's not so bad. 2 deer patches. Not really a lot of sheep besides the initial ones under your town center. I guess there's one here. The Otter one sent that over there. Oh, that villager was trying to take it, but the Otter one quickly stops him. 2 scouts, though. So the 2 scouts force you to get loom immediately, which is very important because there are 2 scouts on the loose, and you can potentially gang up on your opponent's villagers. You could trap something against a wood line and pick them off. The Otter one said he had fun on it. That's good. Yeah, I made this one pretty much all the Greek maps. Oh, 803's scout going down to the town center, arrow fire. Pretty much all the Greek maps I made except for Nomadas. I overhauled the lands on that to make the Nomad, to give Nomad a little bit more variety. And then, of course, Olympos was made by Q Philip. But the rest of them I made for a friend of mine who wanted to host a tournament themed in ancient Greece. But you know, he'd been sick for a while, and we never got around to it. So eventually I just decided, I've got these maps, and I'm still organizing things for Alchemy League, but we're gonna try to use these maps, even though they have a largely standard feel. We're gonna try to organize the maps in Alchemy League Season 3. And then we're doing a proper, like, true development of brand new maps for Alchemy League Season 4, like we did for Season 1. And for Season 4, it's going to be themed in Alaska, as you guys know. It is a very brutal map. But the Otter one likes brutal. So 803, let's talk about this. 803 is playing as the Persians. Persians are a great economic civ. I think this is a solid choice here. The Otter one is playing as the Goths, which is a little bit more niche. I think that the Otter one is going to have opportunities, but the Persians, I feel, will overpower the Goths in the late game. So this is another case of the Otter one having to do damage to 803. He's coming forward here to build he builds a house. I guess he doesn't have to build a mill here. Goth villagers, but he's going to anyway. Goth villagers can carry more meat. And I wonder if the Otter one is starting... He's starting a drush or a man-at-arms rush or something. I don't see him going up to the next stage. So I think he's just drushing. This drush is going to buy him time. In addition to his scouts, he's got a scout here. This scout does 7 attack every 4 seconds. These guys do 4 attack every 2 seconds, I believe. He could actually have kind of like an army. He's going to lame the deer. That's not very nice. But it is war, after all. So the Otter one helping himself to 803's economy here. 803 sees them. He's going to fight this off. He's hoping that the Otter one... Yeah, he does a lot of damage to that militia. Is he going to fight this one too? Yeah, the Otter one taking some free damage here to 803 before really deciding on fighting anything. He's going to try to get the hill, but 803 is paying attention. But the Otter one is also wasting 803's time, so it's not a total loss. More food from the deer helps a lot. Well, there are no boars. So each boar has 360 food in it, and each deer has 140, and there are 4 of them, 2 patches. So I guess it is extra food. It's not so much. And there are fewer berries. So I haven't gone through and added it all up, but it feels like a little bit less. 803 wants to come over here on this gold, but the Otter one does not want him to. Is he going to win that fight? Okay. Well, he's not going to lose the fight. Let's just put it that way. So the Otter one not really terribly heavily committing. I mean, he does... I guess he's making some more militia. No, okay, never mind. Alright, I lied. The Otter one is committing heavily to this. I've seen 3 militias so far. Here come 2 more. Oh, here's some more. So he's just sort of perpetually drushing 803. 803's got to pull this villager back. If I were 803, I would house wall this right here, right now. Or palisade. One more, 803. One more. Alright, good. You got it. So, I don't want to say that I'm rooting for 803 here, but I do like to see tied up matches here. But the Otter one just goes around. 803 garrisoned his town center, but it wasn't enough. And now he's got this drush in here. And he's gonna have to deal with it. He's kind of fighting it, but you don't really want to fight. This is a lot of units here. This is 5 units. So the Otter one is going to come back and keep on annoying him. He's sending these other guys over here to fight as well. 803's got to pay attention. He's got like 10 villagers tied up with this drush. 803... Alright, he's just monitoring this wood line here. I think 803 is very distracted. He does get up to the feudal age before the Otter one. Is the Otter one close to getting to the feudal age? Well, he did click up, so he's not too heavily invested in the drush. It's true. Deer are a very important source of food on this map. Looks like 803 has actually made militia of his own, which is an interesting choice. And some weak militia here. It really comes down to who micros better, who's paying attention. And it looks like, in this case, it's 803 who's paying better attention. Picks off 2 militia for almost for free. And then, yeah, so he's going to clean up what the Otter one has here. So the Otter one, with a ton of eco disruption. But 803 does have a score lead over him. 803's economy, again, is a little bit stronger. What do we got? We've got another barracks for the Otter one. So instead of instead of militia, it's going to be man-at-arms. So he's going to come back with man-at-arms, and 803 is going to be in trouble because man-at-arms are much more powerful than militia. And I would not be surprised. Yep, man-at-arms upgrade is being researched now. He's got an army of 8 militia. It's going to be 8 man-at-arms. 803 doesn't want to fight it, but he is going to keep an eye out for maybe picking off some reinforcements. Or maybe he'll come back here and disrupt the Otter one for a change. But these man-at-arms are unaccounted for. They were militia the last time that 803 saw them, and now they're man-at-arms. And they're just going to walk right around this. I don't know that 803 is going to react in time. Yeah, he gets a few arrow shots off on them, but 803 needs to get out of here. He needs archers immediately. I don't know if 803 will make them, though. But and 803 knows that he needs archers. He's making the range now. And he needs, like, stone walls here. Persians do get stone walls. Goths do not. But he needs to, like, build a tower on his gold, build a stone wall here, and just try to survive. Because you guys know that the Otter one is not going to go home. He's not going to be content with this. He's not going to be like, oh, I've done enough. And these guys are going to slip right in here. And that is a disaster for 803. He has to evacuate the wood line. He's got to evacuate the gold. He made a random scout for some reason. I think 803's plan was to go... He's still making scouts. It's so weird. I think he underestimated the Otter one's ability to make man-at-arms. Is the Otter one making more man-at-arms? No, he's not. 803 is making... Okay, there are some man-at-arms here, and the man-at-arms are going to beat this scout back. They outnumber them. 6 attack versus 5, 1 melee armor. So, in equal numbers, man-at-arms will crush scouts. And the Otter one just has to keep 803 off of this gold. Now, does 803 know of other golds? Yes. 803 is aware of this gold here. It's kind of forward. And he knows about this gold over here. And he knows about this gold over here. But you're still somewhat far away. And he sees that there's a gold tile here. So, he has other options for gold. It doesn't have to be that way. Should be microing these archers back. He's making more. There's a spearman here disrupting 803's lumber collection. He found this corner and this relic.
Ari, salam.
This man-at-arms is going to show up and make this an unfair fight. I don't think Otter one has taken any economic damage. Heavy Swordsman is just spying on him. But he's been in 803's base for most of the game.
Ari, Farman. Amade. Ari. Amade, Farman. Ari.
Otter one patrolling here so that the archers have a hard time hitting the man-at-arms. I think 803 now has a sort of critical mass of archers. He can deal with the man-at-arms, but boy was it tough getting there. The Otter one is still making more man-at-arms. Let's look at his production queue. He's making man-at-arms from 2 barracks continuously. And he's expanding his economy. The scores are very close. 803's taken some damage. But the Otter one has also spent a lot of resources on these man-at-arms. So he really has to... He has to do the damage, the Otter one does. Otherwise he's going to fall behind. But this has been a pretty exciting game so far. This one might end in Feudal Age. Otter one is housed. He'll throw up some more houses. He's building a stable. He's building a stable. He's going man-at-arms and scouts. What a strange combination. But it's every aggressive feudal player's dream to go man-at-arms and scouts.
Ja. Bereiter. Pacer.
Okay, they have the upgrades. We've got all the feudal age upgrades they can have. Otter 1 is sending more man-at-arms into the back of 803's base. Now, 803 does still have these archers, though, so man-at-arms won't live very long, but they'll pick off a few more villagers. Here's one. So, Otter 1 scouts out that 803 has... is making more scouts. He does manage to kill them. And the Otter 1 has even more man-at-arms here. He's taking 803 off of this forward lumber camp. 803 has not spent much time taking wood here. He's pulled ahead in score to John 803. The Otter 1 is clicked up to the Castle Age. He's on his way. Let's take a look at 803 and see if 803 is clicked up yet. 803 needs to cancel his scout and then click up. 803 is very close himself to clicking up to the Castle Age. It would help 803 a lot to get there first. But he's very distracted. Otter 1 coming over here. I'm not sure what this is about. Could this be... Let's see what the Otter 1's resources look like. He has no stone. It looks like the Otter 1 sold his stone. This is just a lumber camp. Alright, he might be planning something for this area later. Maybe like some military production raid from the side or something like that. 803 is on the offensive now. The Otter 1 is making skirmishers to deal with it. And he's still making a little bit of man-at-arms. He's getting close to the Castle Age. Let's check in on 803 to see if 803 is clicked up yet. 803 is not clicked up yet, despite having the resources. He's very busy. He has the buildings. Come on, 803. Click up, click up. 49 to 21. Oof. 803 with 23 villagers, and the Otter 1 with somewhere in the 40s. So what's keeping John 803's score competitive with the Otter 1's? For much of this game was his kill-to-death ratio, probably. The Otter 1 just kept on losing so many guys. You can't keep your score up with that. The Otter 1 is Castle Age. He's going to get Long Swordsman. He's going to get the armor. 803 has clicked up himself. He's about a quarter of the way up. He's got to survive. Could be helpful for 803 if he could make some scorpions. Maybe 4 or 5 scorpions to keep the Otter 1 at bay.
Farman.
Otter 1 is coming around looking for some damage. Just Stonewall. Just Stonewall. That's what I say.
Amade.
Another stable. 803 just loves his knights. He loves knights.
Salam.
He's got to abandon this wood line again. I'm wondering if Otter 1 has enough long swordsmen to dive this town center. It's going to be close. He's also making knights. He doesn't want to dive the town center. He probably judges that he doesn't quite have the means to do that. He wants to overpower these swordsmen with knights. Is this stable going to go up? No, it does not. And 803 is in trouble here. He's in the Castle Age, and he calls the GG. GG, well played. Was quite an annoying man-at-arms rush. 803 needed more stone walls and towers to deal with it. Violent, violent game. I would say that this game ended... I mean, technically it ended in the Castle Age, but it was Feudal Age units that ended the game. Fun set. GG's. So I'll be right back, guys. I'm going to step away real quick, and then we're going to do Smokey versus Lucho. And those are some high-level games right there. Actually, let me take a look at the statistics real quick. Other one just with twice the economy here. He had twice the villagers. But 803 had a higher military score because 803's kill-to-death ratio was like 2-to-1. But the other one didn't care. Goths. They're expendable. Acceptable losses. 803 exploring 81% of the map. But yeah, twice the villagers. So it's twice the villagers versus twice the KD, and that's how Goths roll. Olympos. Alright, now we're going to load this replay. I'll step away real quick, guys. And I will be right back. Well, this is kind of an interesting one. Look at that. The mountain is kind of in one corner. It doesn't divide the players like it normally does. That's fine. It's good randomness. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Hopefully you didn't go anywhere. Alright, let's get this show on the road. So, Smokey versus Lucho, these guys are 2.2 to 2.5k. So, these players are very good. We're not going to spend much time talking about idle TC time because there probably won't be any. Somebody getting loom right away.
Wait?
Smokey getting loom right away. Okay, I guess it makes sense because he's Chinese. Well, he's playing as the Chinese. I don't think Smokey is Chinese. Maybe he is. I've never asked him if Smokey's ancestry comes from East Asia. So Smokey is the Chinese versus Lucho, who is playing as the Mongols. So we've seen Mongols on this map before. People seem to think that Mongols are good on this map because of the extra hunt. But maybe they won't be so good on this particular generation of the map because, I don't know, the hunt is pretty close to your opponent, so it's less safe. Maybe Lucho won't be taking as much hunt. So Lucho is our number 1 seed here. He is 2.5-ish K. Really good player. I think he's, what, he's in the top 100 or something like that. It's actually kind of really lucky that he found us and happened to like us. Sometimes there are just those people, you just get lucky like that, and there's just some guy that's particularly talented or good at something or influential in something, and they're just like, hey, this person's pretty cool. Let's do this. And that was the case with Lucho and us. Lucho with a very forward lumber camp, though. I'm not really sure I understand that lumber camp. Why not build the lumber camp back here? Let's see what Lucho's knowledge of his surroundings is. How much exploration has Lucho done? Of course, Lucho is a really good player, so he's going to have explored all of his surroundings, and he's like, yes, forward lumber camp time. So I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe there's a good reason for it, and I just don't understand. My 1300 mind just doesn't get it. We'll see. maybe Lucho will build something up here. Like he'll build a forward base or something like that. He's going to invest really heavily into this forward position. He's coming over here to check out Smokey's base now. He has found Smokey. Okay, and Smokey sees him. He gets a whack on Smokey's scout. Smokey reacting now. Alright. Smokey's already gotten Loom though, so Lucho is probably not going to be able to do much with this. And just like that, their scouts are similar healths actually. Smokey with 8 health and Lucho with 9. Smokey's going to need a hill advantage in order to win a fight like this. So here's watch Smokey run. The trees seem much closer to the summit than before. Alright, I'm not really sure what happened there. Let's disable the Fog of War. It looks like Smokey did get that pick off. You consider the elevation advantage, giving this 7 attack 25% more. And that's enough to take out a 9 HP heavy swordsman. So Smokey kind of using the hill to snipe Lucho. Because Lucho's scout was already injured. That wouldn't have worked if Lucho hadn't taken those free whacks from Smokey's villager. So Smokey kind of has a little bit of an advantage there. And Lucho has no scout now. But he has a good idea of where Smokey is. He scouted Smokey's lumber camp and a house. And now Smokey's figuring out where Lucho is. So Smokey comes in here and Smokey finds Lucho's lumber camp. And I wonder if he's going to find the town center the hard way, if he's not paying attention. There's some sheep here. Smokey wants these sheep, but Lucho's not going to allow it. Yeah, so Smokey finds the town center. Now I wonder what kind of build these guys are going to do. Sorry guys, I haven't really been paying attention to that. I would suspect, based on the fact that Lucho just sent a bunch of stuff over to wood, that he is already clicked up. Yeah, so Lucho's clicked up. He's building a barracks. He's got a bunch on wood, so this is presumably a scouts build. Some kind of Mongol lightning scouts build. An 18-pop scouts build, if you consider that Lucho would have had his scout by now if he hadn't lost it. So this is, because the size of the build, it's a 17 villager scouts build or an 18 pop scouts build, because when people say that, they assume that you haven't lost your scout. Okay, so Lucho doing a lightning scouts build. He gets this barracks up, which is good. He's going to need to get up a stable. So as soon as he hits the feudal age, he'll pull like 3 villagers off and have them build a stable, and then he'll start mass producing the scouts. Oh wait, no! He's going over to gold. He's going to gold. What? What is this? I was wrong. I guess it makes sense. Like, he doesn't really have much for farming economy set up here. What's Lucho doing? He's building an archery range. So he's doing a lightning archers build. Interesting. Now Smokey does not know this. Smokey knows that Lucho's up very quickly, and he's only now scouting the archery range. So Smokey's response is going to be to build an archery range of his own. And he's not too far behind. I think Smokey was more so planning on doing like a one-range archers for now, just defensive art. Smokey's very defensive. He's very conservative. So he's going to build this archery range, and he's going to make skirmishers or archers of his own to protect himself from Lucho. Lucho may be assuming a scouts build. I see we've got a spearman here. There's not really any other reason to do that. There are some swordsmen in the center, but he's not interested in those. Those swordsmen are just there to keep people from, I don't know, villagers from walking across this or something. Maybe to kill monks that come here unprotected. So Lucho's going to come across, and he's going to look for an opportunity to hurt Smokey, because he was up to feudal age first. Smokey has an archer. He's building more archers. He's building a blacksmith because he wants to get fletching as soon as possible. He has 8 on food somewhere. I guess 4 of them are taking farms, 2 of them are taking sheep, and alright, Smokey's got some more stuff taking food over there. Berries. And this is always how it starts out. Single military. Just wasting your time. Not really enough to be a menace, but Smokey has a couple of archers, so he's able to chase it away. Now, let's see how much what Lucho is up to. So Lucho is still making archers. He's not really making any more spearmen. I think he really thought that Smokey was going to go scouts here. Because of all the food. Neither player has, like, milled these ibex, which is sort of strange, because the last game that we cast for this, the Otter one versus 803, they were all about these ibex. They were like, yes, we need to build as many mills as possible. We even have Mongols again, and they're still not doing it. So maybe at this level, the players are just like, yeah, I can't get away with that. I'm not gonna go up there. I'm not gonna build up there. Somebody's just gonna stop me. Archer fight with Lucho coming out on top. Superior archer micro. What's Smokey gonna do about that? We'll see. Let's go over to Smokey's point of view. So he's got a couple of archers in his range, and he's going to wall with houses. And Lucho's going to show up here, and he's going to damage this villager. Lucho presumably, yeah, he's got fletching already, and Smokey's got to pull this villager back. Ooh! He saves it. Smokey manages to save the villager. So he's bought himself a little bit of time. Lucho has not yet determined that he can walk around this way. Smokey with a skirmisher and 2 archers. This is really what it comes down to, right? You know, these high-level games, and you know, they're like pub brawls in the feudal age. You know, some guy, hey, sir, you're not allowed to bring that bow, and it's like me and a couple of goons showing up at the bar. It's not really like armies at the high level. At least not in the feudal age. Eventually they work their way up to armies. Smokey has 2 archers and 2 skirmishers. So this is like the greasers versus socius here. This is like a 1950s gang fight. Alright, and Smokey, sensing that he's got sufficient units to defend now, he deletes that wall segment. He comes out. He's going to chase Lucho away this time. Smokey with 36 villagers, and how many villagers does Lucho have? Lucho has 34 villagers. And he's housed. So Lucho's got to get this house up here. But Lucho has been on the aggressive. He'll be able to take this fight once these other archers come. Oh no, Smokey getting some good hits here. He's going to force Lucho back. Dancing back and forth. This time with Smokey having an advantage because his army is mostly skirmishers. But Smokey has to be careful, because if he makes too many skirmishers, he's not going to be able to afford to click up to the castle age. It'll consume too much food. Smokey working to finish off his wall here. Smokey is walled here. Smokey likes to wall. And he's walling here. But he's got to place one more segment. Hopefully he doesn't leave that segment open. Then Lucho would come in. But Smokey would not make a mistake like that. So Lucho's army is now... Lucho's gang is larger than Smokey's gang now. Now the boys are going to fire back. He's got a hill advantage too. Smokey trying to dodge the javelins. Sort of mostly succeeding, I guess. Alright, Smokey is on his way up to the castle age. He's about a third of the way. Let's see what Lucho's story is. Lucho is about a quarter of the way up to the castle age, so both players will be nearer to the castle age in a reasonable amount of time. It looks like Smokey will slowly lose this fight, but I think he's okay with that. I think Smokey just wanted to finish his wall, and yeah, he does wall that final segment there. Whereas Lucho is not really fully walled, although he's working on it. He's added another archery range here. And it's kind of interesting that both players chose to go archers this time. In the previous game, they both wanted to go scouts, but in this game, they want to go archers. So maybe archers are better on this map, at least at the higher level. So Lucho's going to look for a way in. And when he can't find one, he'll probably try to chisel his way in through these walls. Look at Smokey. This kind of stuff. Just like Smokey just wasting Lucho's time here. It's obviously not a fight he can win. He just wants to buy as much time as possible. Smokey, of course, knowing that these archers are on their way, he's already relocated his wood line over here. Actually, what Smokey should do is he should build a town center right here. Because that would... Wait, what? Smokey deletes this wall segment. Tries to get Lucho to come in and trap him. Aha, it was a trick. Smokey's very tricky sometimes. Chases Lucho off. Lucho getting all of the right upgrades, though. He's getting crossbowmen, bodkin, making a few more archers. Mongolian archers versus Smokey's archers. Smokey's probably doing the same thing, I would imagine. No. Smokey is going into knights. That's interesting. So he's transitioning over to knights. Does he have any upgrades? He's got the first armor upgrade. I did not see that one coming. And I think Smokey's plan is to just keep Lucho distracted and busy until he can get some knights out to do some serious damage. He was microing back with the skirmishers, so the knight really wasn't taking much damage there. And was it really worth it? Well, you know, if you're Chinese, you can transition into different technologies faster. Now, I don't want to say faster, actually. That's Portuguese. More cheaply than other civilizations. So, Smokey deciding to transition to knights, we're probably going to see an investment. Maybe we'll see. I don't know. You know, if you're Lucho, maybe you let's check on Lucho's point of view. Maybe you're just like, yeah, you know, I'll just have enough crossbows to deal with it. I don't need to go into pikemen. Yeah, it doesn't look like he's going into pikemen yet. So Smokey with the... Oh, look at that. Look at that. Totally called it. What a great town center location. Why is this such a good town center location? It's a good town center location because if Lucho ever had a bunch of military and chiseled his way through this wall because he wanted to raid the back of Smokey's base, this town center would be able to range an enemy army coming through here. That, in addition to the fact that it's on the gold and it's on the wood. It's a good town center. Alright, so Smokey seems to have massed up enough knights and elite skirmishers to threaten Lucho now. And Lucho is gonna... Okay, he's getting thumb ring and he's adding another range. And he will probably... He just spent a bunch of wood, but because he's getting ballistics too, and thumb ring, and he just built this building. But presumably when he recovers his wood, and he's got a lot on wood right now, he'll be mass producing archers from 3 production buildings. He's finishing off his wall off. Smokey kind of put him on the back foot here. He has a very active lumber camp here. He's got 25 on wood back here. I would have liked to see Lucho wall off some more wood or something, like wall to the edge of the map here and secure all of this wood. But you need your wood. You know, it's not trivial to do. Oh, there's a hole in this wall. Uh-oh. Alright, Lucho sees it, but maybe he figures he can clog it up with his crossbows. Smokey getting fired at. He's trying to get away without taking too much damage. So Lucho's plan appears to be overpower this with crossbow, with damage output from crossbow. But there's too many skirmishers, so what's he gonna do? He's just gonna micro down the skirmishers. There are quite a few crossbows here. He does outnumber him like 2 to 1. He'll lose more gold in this exchange than Smokey will, but he could probably win. And it looks like Lucho's made a couple of spearmen as well. Those are out staying back so as to not get sniped by the skirmishers. And Lucho pushing out, reasoning, I've got 14 crossbows here. I've got enough. Now, is Smokey trying to get the relics? I don't think so. Don't think either player is trying to get the relics. Smokey, though, doubling down on knights. He's adding another stable. So Smokey really wants to make the mobile units happen here. Lucho getting ballistics to help him snipe Smokey's very annoying skirmishers. Lucho making more crossbowmen. I don't know, is it worth getting a mangonel, maybe a monk or something? I know it's slow. It's a slow military count. Maybe it is easier just to do this. But I was thinking maybe Lucho could use some counter units somehow. Looks like these spearmen are coming up just to spare the crossbowmen additional damage. Alright, and Lucho is going to eventually clean that up, but I don't think Smokey really cares about that anymore. Smokey's making knights from 2 stables. And he's still making skirmishers, actually. Smokey has built a town center up here. He figures he's kept Lucho occupied down here. Lucho isn't going to be going up here and interfering with this. And we've got a... look at that. We've got a neutral heavy swordsman here trying to get in on the action. Lucho gets it out of the way. Okay, Lucho recognizing he's in trouble here. The knight's trying to get us surround. So he's probably going to try to micro around these gold piles and these berries. He's just withdrawing. He's withdrawing and he's microing the archers to deal as much damage to the knights as possible. Smokey is housed. Smokey... yeah, he'll be alright. He's losing a few units, but I think that Smokey is going to win this engagement. Lucho has a knight here. Did Lucho... no, I don't think Lucho has a stable. Lucho must have converted that knight. A little bit of Wooloo action. He converts another knight. He's got a monk here healing that knight, so he's going to clean up Smokey's army. But Smokey getting some ground he's gained. Controls the center again. Smokey does have a score lead. Smokey has 85 villagers and Lucho has 63. So Smokey booming more heavily than Lucho is. Lucho actually has not added an additional town center. To Lucho, it's all about the army here. And Lucho's just clicked up to the Imperial Age. So Lucho doing the Mongolian fast imp into Arbalister, which is a legitimate strategy. You can do that. You can do it. It'd be interesting to see how it works here. But with additional technologies, like he could shred through these knights and through these skirmishers. I think Mongols are just missing the final armor for their Arbalisters, but nobody has time to get that anyway when you're doing this strategy, so it's fine. If I were Lucho, though, I would actually just stay home. But he might be doing this because he doesn't want Smokey to get suspicious. Smokey does get suspicious. He's pretty clever. Alright, so Smokey has expanded his farming economy back here. He's taken all of this wood. He's moved up here. He's building a stable. Alright. Lucho, he's gotten the relics! Lucho's gotten all the relics! What? No, he hasn't gotten all the relics. What's this relic thing here, then? I don't know. I'm not sure. Could it be a bug? I thought Lucho was going for the relic victory. So Lucho's theory is, I'm just trying to piece this together here. I'm going to go fast imp as Mongols. I'm going to make advanced units. I'm going to use those advanced units to buy enough time to win with a relic victory. Is that the plan? Lucho Imperial Age. Getting Bracer. He's going to get Arbalister soon. He's got some monks to convert knights, which is helpful, because that's fewer knights that his crossbowmen have to kill. He's getting the Arbalister upgrade. He's continuing to mass produce these units. He's got 2 relics now. And did Smokey get any relics? I don't know that Smokey did get any relics. Let's check. Let's see Smokey's perspective. Smokey's Imperial Age, and he is getting Cavaliers, though, with a Cavalier upgrade. and the armor upgrade, it will be quite formidable. Smokey coming in here to take this fight. I think Lucho doesn't realize how close Smokey is to getting those upgrades in. He needs to kill as many knights as possible before those upgrades come in. I think Smokey just taking this fight just barely too early. The armor has come in for the knights, though. But the knights took their damage as knights that were only Castle Age upgrades. Smokey taking that fight just a few seconds too early. And Lucho is still in this. But Smokey, for now, Smokey is at 100 pop. He's mass-producing Cavaliers now. And Lucho just trying to buy some time here. Or get in and do damage. Cavaliers are too well armored at this point. Lucho has missed a relic, I think. Where's the relic? Oh, it's behind the column. It's behind the column, and Lucho hasn't seen it. So is Lucho... He might be wondering why the relic victory hasn't triggered. Yes. I bet that's it. I bet Lucho does not see this relic behind the column. And he's wondering why the relic victory has not triggered. Oh, that sucks. I'm gonna micro these arbalesters. I don't know that he would have time to get the relic victory anyway, but maybe. I'm not sure. Yeah, I was wondering the same thing, Otter. I'm not sure why he's got the relic next to his name, but there's no relic timer. So there is a relic right here that is visible on the minimap, but is right behind this column. And I think that Lucho can't see it, or didn't see it. And so he maybe thinks that he has the relic victory going. I'm not sure. It could be a lesson learned, though. Okay, Lucho going for that relic. No, he's going for a conversion. It is well hidden, unfortunately. So, what's Lucho doing? I guess he's still making villagers, hopefully? Yeah, I mean, he's still making villagers. But I feel badly, because the longer this game goes on, without, you know, the better chance it would have been that Lucho would have won. Because he had control over this area of the map. But then again, he also is just making only Arbalister. But still, he should have been able to snag this relic. So the question is, what do we do about this? Do we... There is a command that you can add an occlusion mode to certain units to make it so that the outline of other units are visible. And we might have to do that here. As much as I hate to change the maps during the league, it might be necessary. But what is Lucho's win condition here? I'm not really sure. These skirmishers appear to be fully upgraded. They even have chemistry. And they've got all of the armors. So Smokey knows that all he needs to do is just keep making these. But why, you know, the longer the game goes on, the better of an argument that Lucho could make that the map kind of failed him here. Yeah, I know. I'm just nitpicky. We try to prevent this kind of stuff, right? So it's easier. It's as easy as possible to intake the information. It's true. Theoretically, he could see the same thing that we are. We are in the game. You know, we got the same editor. Got the same visual interface. So Lucho calls the GG, loses his army. Smokey eventually overpowers him. It was a good game. I wish that Lucho had seen this relic. It could have affected the outcome of the game. I'm just a little embarrassed by it. So maybe we post that warning. And then we revise the requirement for Alchemy League Season 4 that if you're going to have big, tall, eye-candy objects like this, that you have to make sure that their occlusion mode is set to 2 so that you can see the outlines of things. I don't know that would have changed this, but it's worth looking into, right? If we can make it just a little bit easier to see everything. True, again, yeah, that's true. This strategy was not going to win long-term, but if Lucho had seen this relic and snagged it, he might have been able to still win a relic victory. I don't know. Alright, let's move on to the next game. That was a good game, though. These guys were worthy opponents. Go over to the statistics here. Smokey actually with a higher kill-to-death ratio, which is interesting. It must have just been skirmishers or arbalisters that he was killing. Lucho converted 3 knights. Largest army 39 versus 46. So Smokey eventually overpowering it. Lucho collecting more gold, of course, because he was mass-producing archers. But Smokey beat him in everything else. Their Imperial Age times were actually similar. Lucho with only 3 relics, villager high of 84 to Smokey's 141. Smokey eventually overpowering him. So now we're going to go to the second game, which I'm actually really excited about, called Nomadis. So, for Nomadis, I will explain something first. You start the game with this ox cart. And this ox wagon, you unpack by deleting. And you start the game with this scout here. So you unpack by deleting. And if we look at the Fog of War, you get like a few flares to show you some nearby resources. But you don't start with the 3 scattered villagers. But you do start with this really... This heavy swordsman's a little bit different because he can't attack, because it's a nomad map. You don't want scouts that can attack on nomad maps. He's got 130 health. So, we'll just go Smokey looking for a good place, and 3 villagers spawn, and he decides he's going to build his town center here. Alright, and let's see what Lucho wants to do. Lucho's going to build his town center on a wood line too. You have a speedy water buffalo that has no vision though, so you got to be careful. You can't really explore with it. It's a long story why that water buffalo has no vision. But since we appear to have time, I will explain it. So he sees it again and he sends it back under his town center. What? Smokey trying to steal it? Oh, but he can't because it's too close to the town center. The reason that it has no vision is because the speed of this water buffalo depends on the size of the map. The way that this ox wagon is designed is it is designed to travel from one corner of the map to the other in the same amount of time regardless of the map size. So, if it's a huge map, if the map is 240 tiles by 240 tiles, then it'll move twice as fast as if the map is a tiny map, 120 by 120 tiles. And because of that variability in the speed, I just decided to make his vision 0 so that he couldn't be very effective at scouting on large maps and not effective at scouting on small maps. But Lucho does not seem to have realized that the water buffalo has no vision yet. But he is scouting with the sheep. So Lucho was fortunate, you know, he starts next to the water here. So he builds a dock. Got a little bit of a coastline here. Looks like this is a version of Nomad that is landlocked on this side. You cannot sail across this side. So Smokey, I don't know what Smokey wants to do, if Smokey is docked yet. Yep, Smokey's docked. He's going to build the dock here. Hard to unlearn to scout with the herdables, I guess. It's true. That's alright, it's not a big deal. There's a ton of sheep on this map. Smokey knows where his opponent is. Let's see if Lucho knows where Smokey is. Lucho has not yet found Smokey's base. So I considered like making the map so that there were predators all along the coastline to delay the dock. Because I think a big reason why Nomad skips the feudal age is because you've got a dock working. And the dock is essentially creating twice as many villagers in the Dark Age, so you have more villagers working while you're advancing, so you can just skip the feudal age easily enough. But I decided it was too radical to try to mess with that. Fundamentally, I want this to feel like Nomad. Although it is a classic Nomad. It's got the landlocking on one side. You can't sail around this way. And it's got a little bit more sporadic and random of a land configuration. So I think it's fine. So it looks like Smokey bringing in a boar.
Hola.
He's already gotten Loon. He's playing as the Portuguese, and Lucho is playing as the Malians. So these are both great Nomad civilizations. Smokey loves Nomad. But generally, when I played Nomad with Smokey, it consists of Smokey booming on Nomad into war elephants as Persians. And then, well, the rest of us are dying. And then Smokey gets to like 150 villagers, and he's mass-producing 50 war elephants at a time. And then he comes in and stampedes everything. I think we've done that a few times.
Buena la pasada.
So these heavy swordsmen are very tanky, so that they can survive town center arrow fire. But remember, they only have a vision of 1. So they're not really great at scouting. Lucho's still looking for Smokey. Smokey has found Lucho. Lucho knows it. He's kind of built these houses nearby, I think. He's going to take this deer. Greek Nomad. I like Lucho's little bay here. He's got 4 fishing ships and he's got some fish. And maybe he could build a tower here and protect this bay area, but then Smokey would probably just sail by it and ignore it. So it seems like ships don't really respect land very much. Okay, so it looks like Lucho will find Smokey. Look at all these sheep Smokey found. This is ridiculous. But Lucho's just fishing, so it's not a big deal. There's other food. Alright, let's see if Lucho finally notices where Smokey... Oh no, he's doubling back! So Lucho getting... Oh, he sees this boar. Is he gonna... Okay, he's just gonna stop the boar lure. I thought he was gonna block Smokey's villager. But he's just gonna make it so that Smokey has to go back and shoot at the boar again. And Smokey's like, oh... Crap, that boar isn't following me anymore. I don't think Smokey noticed that Lucho was interfering with it. Oh, Lucho. No, Lucho, no. Actually, this would be very... Wait a second, what? How did the swordsman attack that boar? What on earth? I didn't know he could do that. And he's got a lot more health, too, so... Might as well. Well, I don't think it's a big deal. But I'm not really sure how this swordsman is able to attack the boar. That's strange to me. Looks like he's not doing very much damage to the boar. Smokey's sending his scout over here to interfere with the process. Lucho really wants to lure this boar into his town center. They're doing 1 damage per hit. Which is kind of funny. So maybe the boar is just like, well, I'm angry that you attacked me, but it's not worth following you if you're only doing 1 damage to me. Okay, Lucho expanding on the water economy. He's built a second dock here. And he's about to be feudal age. So I wonder if we're going to see, yep, we're going to see fire galleys. fire galley and another fishing ship. And what's Smokey up to? Smokey is still Dark Age. He's going to be Feudal Age soon. I think Smokey wants to fast castle and probably go organ guns. Has Lucho found Smokey? Since Smokey knows where Lucho is, he figures maybe he would be vulnerable to a castle drop involving organ guns. But Lucho has not found Smokey yet. And that's pretty awkward. Smokey getting Feudal Age, so Lucho's going to know that, like, these Feudal Age times are associated with castle drops. He's going to know it's a later Castle Age. So Lucho going to come out here with his galleys and fire galleys. It doesn't look like he's building any more because I don't think Lucho believes that Smokey is investing in Navy based on how late Smokey is up to the next age. That would be my guess. If I must guess. Yep. Here it is. We can see that Smokey is going massively onto stone. Smokey desperately needs these fishing ships to take in this food, though. If he's not able to click up in time, then all those villagers on stone are going to be for naught. I mean, I guess Smokey has a ton of sheep here, so it's not a huge deal. This is Smokey's risk mitigation strategy. If I lose my fishing ships to enemy navy, I'll just take these sheep instead. And Smokey gonna force drop off the, or actually not force, it's just gonna drop off and then he's gonna click up. Actually, that's, for all we know, Smokey could already have clicked up. Yeah, he's halfway up. I was looking at Lucho's resources like a pleb caster. Oops. But Lucho is not gonna be far behind. Lucho is on his way up to the Castle Age as well, so Smokey going up to the Castle Age, and we're probably going to see Smokey pull some villagers and get ready for a castle drop. Maybe not, though. Maybe Smokey will build his castle defensively. He probably expects organ guns, yes. Here it is. So Smokey's sending some villagers forward, but Lucho's going to see this. So Lucho has an outpost, and Lucho immediately sends villagers to Vil fight it. Smokey Castle Age. Lucho's... Lucho sees more Smokey villagers coming, and so Lucho pulls everybody off of the wood line to come and villager fight this. He does not want to allow this to happen. And Smokey's running away. He's looking for a good spot to plant that castle. He might plant it right here. Might try to just force it up, plant it here on this wood line. Smokey coming this way, Smokey coming this way, Smokey going this way and that way. Lucho with a gate wall here to trap Smokey. Oh boy. Oh no, now Smokey has to fight. Smokey gonna try to shank his way out of the palisade gate because it has no armor. Lucho's gonna repair it. Oh, this is a disaster for Smokey. I bet Smokey quick walls and then fights his way out of this gate. Lucho trying to get this weak villager here. Smokey fighting. Yeah, this is the problem with being 2.2 and 2.5k is you can't get away with castle drops. But it looks like Smokey decided to build his castle somewhere else. And then he's already made an organ gun out of it. So Smokey just builds a defensive castle. And Lucho needs to rush up this siege workshop. So Smokey intends to save his villagers. And he's actually going to trap Lucho's villagers instead, but Lucho can come over here, so it's not a complete wall. It's really good for Lucho because he still has fish working. That's true. Lucho's just got to survive. Smokey got to come around here. He's going to send organ guns around to this side to fight, and now Lucho deletes the wall, and he's just going to leave. And he needs the mangonels. Lucho needs the mangonels to keep Smokey's organ guns away. Smokey actually might go for Lucho's fishing. I I don't know if Smokey knows about Lucho's fishing, though. Let's see. The organ guns could threaten the fishing ships. Actually, Smokey does know about this dock. He doesn't know about this dock here, but he knows about this dock. Okay, so Lucho gets this mangonel out, and Smokey has to regroup. Lucho with the score lead over Smokey so far. Very entertaining game. Smokey doing the micro thing, which is very annoying. But the organ guns don't do much damage when they're microed. This mangonel is kind of suffering, though. Struggling to get those organ guns. Lucho's got to come forward and repair it. So he's repairing it. Now Smokey's going to attack the villager. He's got to pull the villager out. Ugh, so annoying. Okay, organ gun goes down. Is Lucho going to save his villager? Yes, he is going to save his villager. He's like, oh, this villager's actually quite weak. I better pull this villager back. So he guesses well. This mangonel, meanwhile, was over here chasing off some other organ guns. So this mangonel is needed. Smokey doing the split with the organ guns to dodge rocks thrown by the mangonel. Lucho deleting that gate so the mangonel can get through. Can you switch stats so we can see the eco count? Sure. So Smokey's at 30 villagers, and Lucho is at 32 villagers. But some of those villagers, I think, are fishing ships. Alright, so Lucho is continuing to make mangonels. Or he has 3 mangonels. And Smokey wants to keep this monastery up. This is Smokey's answer to the mangonels. He's going to make redemption monks, I bet. He's still got all of these sheep here, but he hasn't really used them. First he has to get sanctity to help the monks stay alive. But look at how heavily Smokey is on gold. So he's definitely investing heavily in monks. He's built a second monastery behind it. He's got a monk there. But he can't convert the mangonels yet. Oh, he can, because he got redemption first. Yikes, that's awkward. Alright, well, Lucho has to get out of there. So now what does Lucho do? Where's the stable, Lucho? Lucho is... oh, he's going to make a monastery of his own. So we're going to see an atonement monk battle. Oh, Smokey does get a conversion here. And he manages to trade another mangonel. So now Lucho's been chased back to his base. He's making monks. The 3 flags at the bottom show it. This thing? Aha! Yeah, so there you go. So these are the eco statistics for Lucho. And now we'll go over and take a look at Smokey's economy statistics here. So, Smokey getting atonement. Let's check and see what Lucho's doing. Lucho is not getting atonement. Not yet. Bottom left. Cycle through different statistics tables. I don't see anything. Unclick the monastery. Ah, okay, there we go. Thank you. That's a good trick. I better get used to that trick if I can't use Capture Age. Alright, so Smokey coming around this way. There's something in this siege workshop. I would assume that it is another mangonel for Lucho. But Lucho needs to be careful because Smokey can convert his mangonels. Lucho building a good castle here to keep his stone and gold and a lot of wood safe. So 51 to 41 villagers here. Lucho has a higher villager count. Smokey just converted Lucho's monks, though. That is very annoying. And now Smokey has decided he wants to convert Lucho's siege workshop. Lucho gets a good hit, though, with this mangonel. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Look at how he flattened those organ guns. Now, Malians do get atonement, and I think, yep, we see Lucho has converted one of Smokey's monks now. And these guys are just having, like, a classic arena-style Castle Age brawl here. Monks and organs is a strong composition. Yeah, it always comes down to who has better monks, huh? Not always, but often. In situations like these. Smokey converts a monk, and he's just standing there getting healed by another monk. It's always so funny. Lucho relying on this castle here to at least keep this area safe. This is being threatened. He should garrison this town center and shoot this mangonel, but he's pulling his monks back. I think he wants to convert that mangonel back. I'm not sure, or he's overwhelmed. The good news for Lucho is that he keeps on advancing his dock, and he's getting a ton of free food this way, because Smokey is not on water and apparently doesn't plan to be. Lucho has a score lead from that. Oh, look at this. Lucho has some of these Gabetos. They are excellent at sniping siege weapons. Unique units tend to be easier to convert than most units, so we might see Smokey get a conversion here. Yep, he got the conversion. So Lucho decides to get Devotion to slow down Smokey's monks. Smokey coming around this way. Would have been helpful for Lucho to, like, stonewall off to this, but he's been too distracted. And you normally can't do stuff like that on Nomad, but Lucho has the stone for it. These villagers have to get away. They cannot fight the organ guns. Lucho sending Gabetos, but the Gabetos are confused about how to path over there, and they're going to take the long way. Smokey decides that he wants this blacksmith, so he converts it from Lucho, so Lucho doesn't have a blacksmith anymore. But Lucho is going to kill these organ guns off. Loses a few Gabeto in the process. Smokey deletes this monk instead of letting Lucho convert it. And Lucho's just all about mass-producing monks. Look at this. He's making monks from 3 monasteries. And he's going to make another monastery. So, how is Lucho affording all this? I'm not exactly sure. Is Lucho going to... Is he going to go up to the next... He's just now getting redemption. That hurts. This will be an important town center. Hopefully for Lucho, he's able to get it up. He does have the score lead. But these organ guns, this is going to hurt. I think this is one of those power through and build the town center before losing too many villagers kind of situations. He might... Oh, yeah, he really can't. Oh, my goodness. Ugh. GG. Poor Lucho. These organ guns just wrecking it. And they must have had some monk battle somewhere else too, and maybe I missed it. But so he did try to power through, but it was unsuccessful because of the splash damage of the organ guns. But if he had waited just a little bit to build this, or built it just a little bit earlier, it would have been okay, I think. Or if he had sent his monks down later, when he was trying to build this and convert the organ guns, it could have gone up. Tough game, though, but Smokey 2-0 Lucho here in an upset. So I guess Smokey's been very motivated and he's been practicing. But nevertheless, they were both very good games. I think the first game Lucho got a little bit unlucky and didn't see the relic, and he may have won if he had seen it. And the second game, I'm not sure if there was a conversion battle over here, but it was still close. Let's take a look at the economy, because the villagers are very similar. In fact, Lucho had a villager lead until the very end when Smokey just blew up all of his villagers trying to build a town center. It was like a demolition ship in a way, but not so bad. Lucho is something like 2.4k, and Smokey's 2.2k. 2.4 to 2.5, and Smokey was 2.2 to 2.3. I can show the spreadsheet again real quick. So they're number 1 and number 2 seed here. 2449 and 2265 according to our tournament ELO calculator. But anyway, that's going to do it for me, guys, today. I might be back a little bit later, but I do have some map scripting work to do. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Hopefully it was a good stream. I'm sorry that I can't seem to use Capture Age anymore. But still a good cast. We still were able to spot a lot of stuff, even if we couldn't talk about the nitty-gritty of town center efficiency and that sort of thing. So we'll catch you guys later. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I'm looking forward to casting more sets from the league.